learning experiences in which they can observe, verify, reflect on, and actually participate in the dynamics of teaching-learning process in traditional school settings.
Field Study 1 is the first in a series of 2 sequential studies in the Bachelor of Elementary Education at Pangasinan State University. Field Study 1 is an experience outside the classroom. The student will be allowed to gather their own primary data outside the college campus. Considering that this is the first time that the student teacher has been exposed to the school environment, they are expected to take note of the school's classroom facilities and organizational setup. And at this moment, Rose Angela Ariola would like to present our group members and the school where we deployed before we go over every experience we had during observation.
Good day, everyone. We are here at Asingan North Central School. This is Rose Angela Ariola, together with my group, Evelyn Silvania, our group leader, Jennifer Arugar, Jessa Buhian, Dindo Castañeda, Leia Games, June Quesada, Dennis Madriaga, Jenilyn Mayo, Mark Kenneth Solar, and Patrick Pilaria. And we are the Group 2, the Bachelor of Elementary Education, major in Enhanced General Education, from Pangasinan State University, Asingan Campus. Please join us and explore the learning environment of Asingan North Central School, the school's vision, mission, and core values. During this time of pandemic, students should follow the health and safety guidelines when entering the institution. Asingan North Central School is situated in Barangay Tupac, Asingan. The school belongs to the school jurisdiction in District 2 of Asingan with the school ID number 101721. ANCS began as a complete monograde elementary school in 1940. The school is 11 kilometers from the division office and close to the town proper, making transportation and education services available. The school is led by a Principal 3, Mrs. Elena Ballesteros, and 16 teachers. Asingan North Central School is an eco-friendly school where students at every year level cultivate, clean, dig, and maintain designated areas. By the fact that ANCS teachers create a well-structured learning environment with posters, arts, classroom rules, and appealing bulletin boards, and storage of materials, books, and supplies that we are well organized in each room. At last, Asingan North Central School is not just a school of knowledge. It is also an advocate of health empowerment. And we are quite appreciative that we were stay tuned at ANCS since we are confident that we will gain a great deal of knowledge that we can use in the future.
I am Mark Kenneth Padwasalar. Next, we will talk about the observation we made, the ideas we're attempting to convey in how we express our observational experiences. In observation, we must take students into account when we monitor them. Which effect are they attempting to produce? We watch them as they behave and pay attention to what they say to learn the methods they employ to achieve their objective. In order to have a meaningful conversation with a child, we need to understand both the possible goals that the child has for himself or herself, as well as the steps that the child thinks would lead to those outcomes possible strategies. Children are capable learners, but as educator, we must take our time, pay close attention, and document our observation in order to comprehend the concepts that the students are trying to express. In addition to slowing down, watching children curious calls for a general understanding of how children develop as well as the openness to conjecture.
What will we do to make our field study details more understandable? Hi, my name is Evelyn Silvania, and this section, we will talk about the observation we made of the learners, as well as the documentation we produced by conducting activities and compiling the results. Since our school launched the deployment, learning activities are particularly crucial for our learners' involvement and learning. As learners, they assigned us to do our worksheet for Field Study 1, and we will discuss each of our activity scenarios from activities 1 to 6. We gain from having the chance to evaluate our education and our progress toward goals. Field studies are scheduled as individual or small group activities that provide us the chance to observe abilities and tasks in a range of circumstances at a real workplace. So as we start our discussion, please listen carefully because it will guide us in the future.
Activity 1 is all about the teacher's knowledge of content and pedagogy. It serves us as a guide for all of us to analyze the importance of content knowledge and its application to teaching and learning. In this activity, we can see every student's excitement, interest, and enjoyment on their faces. In this observation, all of the learning principles are critical for better facilitation of the student learning. However, we believe that learning is a cooperative and collaborative process, and that is the important and must be applied in the lesson. We observe how the teachers focus and connected with their student to understand them and the flow of the lesson. Teacher use two types of appropriate media: PowerPoint presentation for discussion and YouTube videos for viewing related to topic. Inside the classroom, teachers are well prepared to instruct and teach. They have a clear and loud voice and are good listener to their students. During this observation, we noticed that the students are responsive and actively participated. However, there are few students who are shy, afraid, and lack of the confidence to recite due to the embarrassment. And the communication strategies employed by teachers are appropriate to the level of the student with whom they communicate. By the end of this observation, we have identified the teachers' strategies for promoting literacy skills and higher order thinking skills. We observed and classified the teachers' classroom communication strategies that support learners' maximum involvement and achievement.
Activity 2 is about my ideal learning environment. In this activity, we observe, assess the various classroom management strategies that enhance learning. I can say that good interaction is very important in the classroom. Teachers must know how to gauge their students' interest so that they will listen, and students must also do their part to ensure a smooth discussion and fun and exciting learning and teaching. We also distinguish between the different types of facilities: office of the principal, library, counseling room, canteen, medical clinic, learning research center, science laboratory, gymnasium, outdoor garden, home economics, comfort room of boys and girls, and computer laboratory. And also we identify the most useful and the less useful, and the importance of a school environment that is safe, secure, and conducive to learning. Students become active in class discussion when they are comfortable in their school environment. In an environment where learning is perceived as positive and encouraged, students are committed to their studies. However, as future teachers, it is our responsibility to foster an environment that encourages learning because, in the absence of such an environment, it can be challenging for students to concentrate and they risk forgetting some of the lessons they have learned.
Next, we are now in Activity 3, all about the distinctiveness of a learner in a diverse classroom. In this activity, we discovered the characteristics of each student, their needs, and their interests. We also recognize the learner's diverse background and their practices in dealing with diversity inside the classroom, as well as those of their teacher.
We observe how much interaction there is in the classroom and how the students interact with one another and with the teacher. We recognize how the teacher influences their students in the classroom. And in this observation, we observe a sense of oneness among the learners and between the teacher and the learners. At the end of this observation activity, we had already differentiated the different developmental levels of the diverse learners. In the overview of this activity, diversity of learners provides the opportunity to observe learners of different ages and grade levels face to face. We notice the similarities and differences among the learners according to how they behave and act inside the classroom. As a future educators, it highlights the characteristics and needs so that we will be able to implement learning activities and assessments that are all developmentally appropriate.
As we all know, Activity 4 is all about the teaching learning resources, ICT, and curriculum, which identify the key learning areas and specify the boundaries as well as the destination. It also guides the curriculum coordinator in formulating the academic standards to be achieved through various teaching and the learning programs and written curriculum, which translates the broad goals of the recommended curriculum into specific learning outcomes. It also gives students an opportunity to develop an understanding of concepts, which allows them to make connections throughout their learning. Thought curriculum helps the teacher to share the gap between what they expect students to learn and what students actually learn. Supported curriculum involves different resources to help the teachers deliver or convey the lesson to their students. Assessed curriculum includes both formative and summative evaluations of learners conducted by the teachers. It also determines the level of the learned curriculum, which the learners absorbs or makes sense of as a result of interaction with the teacher, class fellows, or institution. It also includes the knowledge, attitude, skills, and finally, the hidden curriculum that the student has acquired. It teaches students beyond the technical content of research. We also consider curriculum elements and components consisting of objectives, content, methods, and strategies and assessment and evaluation. A borrowed lesson plan can be used to analyze parts and identify resources used throughout the lesson according to motivation, presentation, and development, generalization, application, and evaluation. And at the end of this activity, we, future educators, learn about teaching and learning resources to apply while already teaching. We also learn that modernization and learning can be combined to allow students to participate in technology. It also makes the environment more active for students learning.
Activity 5 is all about assessment tools. It is a range of formal and informal assessment procedures conducted by teachers during the learning process in order to modify teaching and learning activities to improve students' attainment. Assessment for learning is a way to see what the teacher should do in response, while assessment of learning is a way to see what the students can do. Lastly, assessment as learning is the monitoring of the progress of students. For example, in the daily logs for what they have learned. Assessment and learning, also known as formative assessment, because it records the learning in progress in order to identify gaps and misunderstandings. Teacher Hamias, a teacher at Asingan North Central School, discussed how the occupation of learners' grades in that and what criteria they considered. The information we gathered during the discussion and DepEd, they have an e-class record given by the Central School. They are directing the computation of grades for written works, performance tasks, and the quarterly tasks. It is important to evaluate learning because it allows teachers to access the effectiveness of their lesson. Formative assessment provides feedback that they can be used in the student to improve their learning, while summative assessment evaluate the student overall competencies. The teachers is always prepared with a table of specification. as the table of requirements enables the teachers to create a test that concentrate on the important topics and weights the various topics according to their effectiveness. The learning objectives, assessment, and the teaching and learning activities must all work well together while creating the learning objectives. To evaluate the student performance, the teacher used scoring rubrics to measure how well they met the expectation of the teachers.
Activity 6 is about teacher skills and connection to the community. In this activity, we will include learners in the form of a seminar workshop. It will focus on community linkage, teachers' personal and professional attributes and development, and the importance of their involvement in the research and extension activities. We identify also the social roles and functions of a teacher to promote harmonious relationship with learners, parents, schools, and the wider community. So that we are conducted Dr. Mary Jane Yuki Bilan, an assistant professor to and also department chairman of the Bachelor of Elementary Education General Academics Program at Pangasinan State University, Asingan Campus, conducted her action research, which is entitled Language Learning Strategies of Bachelor of Secondary Education English Major Students of PSU Asingan Campus by conducting workshops and seminars and handling students. She also has an extension program called Enhancing Early Literacy Development Through the Art of Storytelling, where the participants are the kindergarten and grade 1 pupils of San Vicente West Integrated School about enhancing early literacy development through the art of storytelling with the big books. The 21st century skills of a teacher, which she has developed and possesses, will be given emphasis, and it is also important to understand and appreciate the importance of the school-community partnership in the educational process.
On the first day of our 2-day field study, we learned how the teachers interact with their students and how the students interact with their teachers. The students are still young in their minds, so they are so playful even when they are in class. They are easily distracted and they have a short attention span. So the teachers needed to make the discussion not so boring, so the students and the teachers can get along well having their class. And it also makes the students feel comfortable with their teachers. While we are in the field, the teachers instruct some of us on where to observe and give us a copy of sample of semi-dated and dated lesson plan, as well as how to compute their grades, other thoughts as how to create instructional materials to supplement our learning, and we are grateful for the knowledge we gain from our field study.
What we learn from the teacher and student is that they have cooperative learning, in which students work together and which also improves social skills and problem-solving abilities. Students work together on academic tasks in small groups to help themselves and their teammates learn together. As future teachers, it's very important for us to know the learning area standards so that we can give an effective learning to our students. Based on the standard of their learning, it is very important that we meet their needs in learning. That can only be cultivated and cared if we know the area of where we teach them the lessons in the class. I will share the knowledge I gain in my future students so that they could share it to other students. In that way, all students could gain much more knowledge. Knowledge is a special thing that you can use to change the world.
In summary of our observation, we are divided into 2 groups in which we are assigned to the intermediate grades. During our time in the intermediate grades, we have noticed
that the students have a wide variety of abilities, attention spans, interests, and a love for learning. When it comes to the teacher's instructional strategies, they intentionally take into consideration all of the above characteristics to make sure each student gets what they need to be most successful.
During lessons, students are engaged because of the teacher's ability to incorporate their interests into things and give them options. If an error occurs during a lesson, the teacher normally allows the student to try again or call on a friend to help them out. This way, the students are still providing the answers rather than teachers simply providing the information. The teacher chooses a lot of small groups, instruction, and centers where she can work with the small group but then easily monitor all the other groups to make sure they are on task and doing their work. The classroom is organized, they have their own water dispensers, school supply pantry, and mini library. The students keep their hygiene kits in their individual boxes so that the student staff and the teacher staffs do not cross paths. The teacher staff is located on her desk, and the back table is where small group staffs get stand. The classroom setting is definitely positive and interesting, which is good for the students and also for the teachers.
Lastly, our reflection. Through Field Study 1, it was our first time to have an actual classroom observation. The very main point of the observation is to have first-hand contact with the learners and the teachers who have guided us since our first day up to the end of our Field Study 1, as well as to conduct an observation on the physical aspect of the school, such as the classroom and the different facilities of the school. In summary, Field Study 1 helps us to be exposed and able to know the real happenings in classrooms. We observe the teaching-learning process in the classroom. We have also witnessed the student diversity and how the teacher dealt with it. In our observation, teachers shared a lot of tips and advice on how to make the classroom effective and conducive to the varied and different needs of diverse learners. In this field activity, we conducted field interviews with the teachers and principal of the school as regards their personal and professional growth and educational preparation of experiences that made them successful in their teaching careers for our preparation as a teacher in the future. Our observation was successful with a lot of experiences and learnings that we gained. Our time observing was not only educational but also for us to become the teachers we desire to be.
Field study courses is just the personal experience gained by working with real-world activities and challenges. As student teachers, we need to face real situations in the teaching and learning process where the learned theories, principles, techniques, methods, and strategies are brought to life. In this field study that we conducted in Asingan North Central School, we will practice the law of exercise, wherein we will practice more often the best strategies that will motivate the learners to learn. The law of readiness, where we must be prepared all the time. And the law of belongingness, where we will treat all students equally, whether they are fast or slow learners. We create an environment in the classroom with due competition in mind, encourage the free flow of ideas, and work toward a common goal of being better than themselves. At this moment, we just want to express our sincerest and loudest words of thanks to our FS coordinator, Sir Louis Casaclang, for deploying us in the school where we know gained a lot of knowledge and experiences. And also a big thanks to the very approachable principal of Asingan North Central School, Ma'am Elena B. Ballesteros. To the teachers and faculty members, thank you for letting us observe in your respected classroom. And we are hoping that in our FS2, you will still accept us. Thank you and God bless you.
Once again, we are grateful to those respected people were instrumental in the completion of our field study 1. To all of our learners in ANCS, thank you for being good and for their utmost cooperation. They actively participated during field study 1. To our cooperating teachers at ANCS for their undying guidance and support who shared their time until the completion of field study 1. To the principal of ANCS, Ma'am Elena Ballesteros, for accepting us to conduct our field study 1. To our field study coordinator, Sir Louis Casaclang, who unselfishly devoted his time, effort, and expertise to lecturing us about field study 1 before and after deployment. Thank you so much, sir. We will keep all of the knowledge that you shared with us. To Dr. Armando D. Junio, our CAD, for his unfailing help in making our field study 1 worthwhile. To Dr. Dexter Button, our president, for being ever supportive, kind, and understanding. To our dearest school, PSU Asingan Campus, for its pursuit of excellence in the field of education to make students competent. To our co-student teachers, for their friendship and companionship during our stay at ANCS. To those who in some way help us accomplish our field study 1. And last, to our loving and supportive family who serve us our inspiration in all of our endeavors. Once again, we are the Group 2. Evelyn Silvania, our group leader. Rose Angela Ariola. Jennifer Arugar. Jessa May Buhian. Tindo Castañeda. Leia Gomez, Dennis Madriaga, Jeneline Mayo, Patrick Hilaria, June Quesada, and Mark Kenneth Solar. Thank you so much, and may God bless us all.